Queensland has just doubled their housing grant. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian Heiser here, and a happy International Men's Day to all of you. Grab your stein of coffee because we're going to talk about the doubling of the first homeowners grant here in Queensland from $15,000 to now $30,000. Awesome, fantastic. Is anyone at all surprised? Remember, an election is coming up, so we've got to address housing affordability. And what's the easiest thing for the government to do? Throw money at it. So let's start off by having a look, and I'll have a swig of coffee, at the pillars of the housing market here in Australia. This is why I've become so skeptical about the perma-doomers, the people who are predicting a calamitous fall in our housing sector here in Australia, because there seem to be so many things that are fighting against that narrative. It's good coffee. Wait a minute. There we go. Let's check this out. Here we go. Okay. So pillars of the Aussie housing market. And can we draw on this here? Yes, we can. There we go. Sorry, I'm still getting everything set up. I've reconfigured my screen setup now. I've only got vertical, and two portrait screens. So there are fewer bad loans, number one. We still have not reached the pre-pandemic levels of people defaulting on their loans. Okay? That's just the reality of it. Sure, people have been flooded with money. Interest rates have been insanely low. But it peaked during the pandemic, and you saw what they did. We all saw what they did. The banks were giving people holidays on their mortgage. And sure, they were probably stupid and thinking the banks were being nice. No, the banks were protecting their own assets. They didn't want to deal with a flood of people being forced to sell. So there's that pressure to decrease the value of property that people are hoping for, that everyone falling over with their mortgages and the banks forcing them on the streets. It hasn't materialized yet. We're opening the floodgates. Labor is no different to Liberal at all. People are returning to Australia. People want to live in Australia. Australia, for all the bitchiness and moaning we do, it's a pretty awesome country to live in. It's safe, it's generally boring, and we don't have all of the issues as other parts of the world has. And people are coming back. People are coming back. We've got the construction apocalypse, our reduced capacity to meet housing demand. We've got the playlist here. I haven't updated the PowerPoint in a while, but that's close to 100 now. Builders that have gone under, have gone bankrupt. It's a sorry tale. But what's concerning is we're potentially losing capacity from the construction sector. So we're going to struggle to meet the housing needs of the future because people are just going, nah, I'm getting out. You've got government support, market intervention, and economic stimulus. As we're just seeing here, we're discussing in this video even more government intervention in the housing market and economic stimulus for housing. I'm not even surprised anymore. I'm not getting upset. I'm not getting outraged. I mean, I've had a pretty chill day today. We went shopping, it was flat out, and I think we all passed out in the car. It was that exhausting. I tell you, going shopping with 6 kids and a heavily pregnant wife is awesome. It's lots of fun. So the RBA rate crash, that wasn't technically not government, but pretty much was. Felt like it anyway. 3% was considered emergency. So now we're over that. We're over that. So if you're hoping for a big correction in the cash rate, it may only go down a little bit. Home builder. Now, the goal of that was just to stimulate the economy, to keep it going. It worked. Home buyer. First home buyer grants. In some states, you were getting 88 grand with all the deals and things they offered you. Now we've got shared equity. You've got government guaranteed loans of 5%, 2%. That was all the deposit you needed. Now, when people are saying it's going to be just like America, it's not. Because these policies are not as insane as in America. In America, they were handing out money to people to buy homes for completely political and ideological reasons. Here, our geniuses have capped it at 10,000 people. It's not as bad. Negative gearing is part of the Australian culture. It's as Aussie as R.M. Williams and Akubra hats. We had the super withdrawals during the pandemic that stimulated the housing sector. Ideologically, I like that idea. People having access to their own money. I know everyone's bitching and moaning, oh, what are they going to do? They'll flitter it away and then they'll have nothing when we'll have to pay more pension to them. You're going to have to pay pension to the shit people anyway that piss away their money, okay? They either get it one big chunk at the end and just waste it, or they waste it forever. What about all the people that would be sensible, probably the majority, that you're taking away opportunities from? That's my concern there. And negative gearing is everyone, okay? It's not just the uber rich, it's everyone. Oh, my favorite one. Keeping the zombie companies alive, letting businesses trade while insolvent. And we're starting to see the outcome of that. Because a lot of construction companies, you sow the seeds of insolvency and bad business practices. She'll be right, mate. Just keep it going a bit further and further and further. And now, what are we seeing? The construction apocalypse. JobKeeper, 9% of Victorian workforce. That was just insane. How many people were getting that? I mean, that was a conservative government. This is the debt we're going to be paying for a while. We've got to remember that. Was it worth it? You've got the not in my backyard crowd, councils limiting development. That's not going to get any easier. There's much of the talk of people wanting affordable housing. Their political actions speak differently. Market competition, number 5. 50% of people live in these 3 locations in Australia. They live around Melbourne, Sydney, and Brisbane. 50%. So this is why when people criticize me, going, you're only talking about these 3 cities. Yeah, because that's where most people live. I think when my father immigrated to Australia, he could pick a few places to get off. He picked Melbourne. His cousin wound up here. Is that Adelaide? Adelaide's there, isn't it? Yeah. And worked for Holden. So, I mean, sure, you got Perth. You got Darwin, somewhere up here. A few other cities, Hobart and Launceston. I remember I discovered an international crypto scam that was based in Launceston. It wasn't even an international airport. Oh, boy. But this is it. People want to live in these 3 areas, or even our major cities. No one wants to live in the middle of the country. You fly and fly out because it's horrible. Okay, the services aren't there. The quality of life isn't the same. Everything is much more expensive. This is why. Construction changes. These new changes in the construction code are going to cost about $30,000 per build, and you'll have people saying, "Oh, that doesn't matter if you can't afford $30,000. You shouldn't be building." Well, then you're not. You can't complain when people can't afford to get a house, because remember, the money you spend at the beginning, you're paying off for years. So, every $2,000, $5,000, $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 that you add on year after year to people's new builds, that takes years for them to pay off. That is accumulating interest. So you've got to realize when you're voting for policies that drive up construction costs, like new section or energy efficiency requirements in New South Wales, accessibility requirements that sound good, that have the good intention, it's going to make it more expensive. There's a reason why housing was cheaper a long time ago, because they were really small and crappy compared to what we have now. We might even look at some of them after this. People seem to forget that. APRA intervention. Yep, APRA have said they will adjust their 3% buffer as necessary to not choke off credit and upset home prices further. So remember, every time the bank calculates your ability to pay a mortgage, they have to put 3% on top of that. So it's limiting how much you can borrow. Remember, it's a completely regulated market. Don't kid yourself. Family support. 66% of the viewers of this channel, which is a majority male Australian, about 30 plus, will support family members to keep them in their house with their mortgage. So the financial gigachants have spoken. The FOMO impact, number 9. Now, let's say we've We've got 10.5 million dwellings, 600,000 changed hands in 2021. And let's say the most high at-risk people forced to sell are the 2% government loan people. Those that only needed a 2% deposit to get into a house. So if we say they all fall over, of the 600,000 that changed hands, that's only 10,000 potentially out of 10.5 million. How much of an impact will that have on the market? Will the media have more of an impact? And a demographic shift. Number 10, I still haven't finished this slide. I've been pretty lazy. We're shifting to smaller households. We're getting, I think, what did I see now? 30% of women are not having any children. So you're getting childless families going from 5%, significantly increasing, which is a big problem. So let's check out 1 second. Here, 60s houses. Okay, we'll have a look. These are some examples of old houses. This is what I'm talking about, how it's changed. Okay, there's some plans here. Look at these little plans. These are, where did I get this one? This is an old catalogue. Is this A.V. Jennings? Yeah, it's A.V. Jennings. Spec homes. Okay, you've got the Avon there. Okay, I mean, there's some pretty posh ones. Look at the Kingston. Little 3-bedder, guys. Hang on, is my pen working? What can I do? Laser point. There we go. Little 3-bedder here. Okay, 1, 2, 3 beds, bath, toilet, separate, now ensuite, laundry, kitchen, all the wet area together, little hallway, linen cupboard, closet, lounge and dining. No carport, no garage, no family room, small, tight, efficient. Compare that to some of the houses that people get nowadays. It's crazy. Here we go. We've got the Bulin, another 3-bedder, just with a carport. It's a luxury one there. I like this one. Here you go, another 3-bedder. So these little 3 beds, 1 bath. Notice how they're tight and efficient little designs. Look at the cars. Isn't that awesome? Such a retro car. And we'll keep going here. Got a few more, some bigger plans. You can see there. And what do you reckon, guys? These are part of the reason why housing was cheaper. Okay, so don't kid yourself with regards to what's built now. This is popular home plans, competition designs, plan folder. You could get architectural designed houses from the Institute of Architects. This is from Victoria. And you can see here, these are a little bit more luxurious and more exciting, but just the footprint's smaller. The designs are tight and efficient. The idea was that you could, these are holiday homes. Some of them you could even build yourself. It's a good idea. The problem is you have to have the land to do it too. So guys, those are the pillars of the housing market. All things I would argue are supporting it. And the change that we're having, well, from houses of the past. So let's have a look now at this article here about the Queensland government increasing the first homeowners grant. What's it going to do? Well, Southeast Queensland isn't really going to see much of an increase in land availability over the next 20 years. We are going to see a significant increase in population growth. So, what do you think is going to happen there, guys? Queensland first homeowners grant to double from Monday. So, we'll double from Monday in a direct incentive to young Queenslanders to buy new homes. The expanded grant also covers deposits on units, townhouses and granny flats and is funded by expanded revenue from the Queensland government from increased core royalties, Treasurer Cameron Dixon confirmed. So maybe if you're an environmentalist and you're worried about the damage to the environment that coal mining is causing, and maybe you're protesting coal mining, sticking your hands onto the pavement or starving yourself in front of Parliament like a nutcase, you shouldn't take these grants because it's dirty coal money. Shows you. There you go. See, natural resources power our industry one way or another. They even power Labor's vote buying. Because, you know, we've already got an overheated market. It's already difficult to get stuff built. Completions are pushing out. It's improving, but it's not where it once was. What do you think another 30 grand per person is going to do to the sector? Oh, well, yeah. At least I'm having a relaxing Sunday, guys. I hope you are too. It's good coffee. The Queensland Premier Anastasia Palaszczuk announced on Sunday at Springfield that the existing $15,000 grant would rise to $30,000. This will stand until mid-2025, she said. It's a great pre-Christmas bonus, the Premier said. I'd say to people out there trying to get into the market, please go and have a look. You can use this cash to secure your first home. You can also use it for a unit, a townhouse, and if your parents want to put a granny flat out the back, you can use it for that as well. Now, that's smart, honestly. Using it as a granny flat, having multi-generational living, adding value to existing properties. It's good that they've allowed that in there. I wonder how close you could get one. I'm sure you could build one on a 3-6 module with one truck, one crane lift only taking a day. You screw piles down, half a day there for that. The grant applies to Queenslanders wanting to buy or build a new home to the value of $750,000, including the land. Mr. Dick said the expanded core royalty payments into the Queensland economy allowed the step to be taken. Coal cash is coming back into Queenslanders. We're using the high price of coal to put prices down on new first homes for Queenslanders, he said. Okay. Will this put prices down for new homes, or will it heat up the market? It's going to, the main benefits of this will be the first people to get in before it's flowed through to the market and it's adjusted. The move comes after opposition leader David Crisafulli last month targeted home ownership as an election issue in Queensland. He pointed out that home ownership rates were falling among young Queenslanders, although there was a slight rise overall. He identified that Queenslanders' home ownership rates were the lowest of any state and said the opposition would review the first home owner grant scheme closer to the October 2024 state election. The 2021 census showed Queensland's overall home ownership rate rose slightly between 2016 and 2021 from 62.2% to 63.5%. However, Queenslanders aged between 25 and 29 were less likely in 2021, 35%, than 5 decades ago. In 71, it was 53%. This is why people are starting families late. This is why, because you don't have a home, you're not settled. You want people to settle in. This was attributed to a range of factors, including education, career choices, cost of living, and cultural reasons. In a statement on Sunday, Palaszczuk said she understood how cost of living increases were affecting home ownership in the state. I want to see home ownership rates continue to rise, which is why our government is stepping up to lend a helping hand, she said. The government included $1.6 billion in new cost of living concessions in the 23-24 budget. There you go. I wonder if it'll be a rate decrease. Oh, that's federal. That's the state government. I wonder what they'll do to help us. In the past 3 years, $365 million have been paid in first homeowner grants for 24,000 homes in Queensland. In September 22, the Productivity Commission recommended the state government phase out or better target first home ownership schemes, saying they contributed to rising home prices. See, we don't even need a productivity to explain this common sense. Oh, boy. It's not typically home buyers who benefit from the assistance. It's the sellers who receive a higher sale price. What this means is that assisting home buyers can somewhat counterintuitively make housing less affordable, particularly for people who do not qualify for assistance. Deputy Opposition Leader Jared Belgi, I need to learn how to say that, said it was a step in the right direction in harsh housing market circumstances created by the Labor government. It's only because the Labor government has created the housing crisis that they're having to double the first homeowners grant today. Well, I wonder if Dan Andrews has had a bit of an impact here with the population increase we've had in Queensland from a lot of people getting out of that state. The government estimates it will help around 4,000 new homeowners each year, not enough to contribute to inflation. Okay, we'll have to see. Well, let's have a bit of a chat about this one, everyone. Once again, the government here at a state level is stepping in to support first home buyers. They're being nice and kind, helping people out. It's another example of the pillars of the housing market: government intervention and market manipulation. I'm not even surprised, everyone. This was expected. I mean, will it work? Will it get Palaszczuk in for another term? That's the real question. And what's more concerning is, what will the LNP offer to kind of sweeten their end of the deal? It's going to be interesting. We'll have to see how this all plays out, guys. One thing is for certain: Queensland is growing. Southeast Queensland is going to start feeling more of the challenges of getting affordable housing. We need to see collaboration between state, council, and federal government to help address these issues. And until that can happen, it's going to be a lot of posturing. And is it going to make a difference? Hopefully. Hopefully it will. Anyway, have a great weekend. Enjoy your Sunday night, and I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.